I'm Susan Gano Phillips. I've been this year a visiting associate professor at City University of Hong Kong working on the General Education Initiative. They've been pretty diverse. I've been an advocate for with the administration for GE reform and GE needs. I've been a consultant to staff who are directly working on GE proposals and policy. I've been a presenter of numerous workshops and presentations on various topics related to general education. I've been a cheerleader to motivate and encourage people who get discouraged when it's difficult work to be done. Those are probably the primary ones that I would think of. The biggest challenge, was that plural?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can list them.
I guess the first thing I would say, and I think I hear this across the board at all of the various institutions that we've talked to, is motivating staff to become involved in it. While I don't dismiss that as a major concern, I think that there are ways to address that that haven't yet been undertaken. But I think all institutions are wondering, how are we going to get to the number of GE instructors, the number of staff interested in teaching in GE by 2012 to meet all of our students' needs? I guess a second challenge that I think is not universal, but certainly has implications in all institutions, is the funding of GE programs. By its very nature, GE does something different than what most of the rest of the programs at universities do, and that is it unites people across disciplinary lines, across college or school or faculty lines, and because of that, there are not administrative structures in place that help the institutions to think about the funding model for that. Different institutions are doing different things, but in places where decisions haven't yet been made, it seems to be a stumbling block for people to get involved and to think in creative and new ways because they are used to having courses owned by departments within programs, within colleges and schools. And so having to think of a structure that cuts across the entire institution and really is a unifying structure rather than something that's compartmentalized is a big challenge still, I think. Let me see if there's anything else I would add to that list. I guess beyond motivating staff, there is a very significant issue of staff development. In the U.S. we'd call that faculty development, but basically helping people to develop the kinds of understandings and then subsequently techniques for use in these kinds of classes for teaching and learning that really model best practices, that model good teaching practice. And there's a lot of research on teaching practice that can be brought to bear on the development of these courses beyond the content of what the courses are about. And outcomes-based education that's come across the entire system can be taken to a new level so that folks can really think hard about not only what are the learning outcomes we want from this course, but how do I best achieve those through the activities that I use in the classroom, and then how do I know whether they've been achieved through the assessments in a way that I would say certainly happens in courses, but it's kind of hit or miss in institutions and with individual faculty members, and it could be strengthened with that. What I find when I talk with individual faculty members is that some comply with outcomes-based education at this point and others have really bought into it, but a lot of people need to see its value to them rather than just filling out the forms and setting them aside and not really thinking hard about what they're doing in terms of their actual classroom practice.